everybody. I'm Ginger.
I'm Dee.
And this is Chattin with CHAP. It's Wednesday.
It is. My voice is all of a sudden scratchy.
All of a sudden, she was perfectly fine.
I was talking for the last half hour. Now all of a sudden I'm...
And now all of a sudden, it's gone. It's all gone. So, what's going on with convention?
Okay, convention, June 12th and 13th, Lancaster County Convention Center. Early bird registration closes March 15th, which is
Sunday.
Yeah, like 4 days? Is that
it? Is. It's like
11th?
Sunday. Yeah.
Early bird closes, so if you haven't registered and you want to get the early bird prices, now's the time. And if you've been thinking about coming to convention and being a volunteer, because you know if you volunteer, Ginger, you get a rebate. You get your early bird registration fee back.
Yes.
So you're coming for free. Maybe you've been thinking about that and you're thinking, well, I'd like to volunteer, but I'd like to know a little bit more about volunteering. We are having an open house just for you tonight at the CHAP office.
I love that.
So it's at the CHAP office. I will put the address and the details in the comments.
It's 231 North Chestnut Street, Palmyra.
Yeah, and it's from 5 to 7 at 231 North Chestnut Street in Palmyra. But I'll put that in the comments so that you have it. We'd love for you to just stop out. We're going to have all the different job descriptions out so you can see what really is involved. And there's so many different ways that you can volunteer. I mean, you can be a room host and help with security, help with information, the chat booth, a mentor, prayer,
registration,
book check. There's so many ways. Set up, tear down, you know. So you give a couple of hours, we give you your money back on your registration, and you've come for free. So that's an awesome opportunity. So if you want to know more, or if you just want to come out and say hi, I would love that. Yeah, we'd love to see people show up tonight, 5 to 7.
You know what? And I'm sitting here thinking, and you can even make money on convention. Like if you volunteer and then you sell books at the UCS. You make money at convention.
Making money.
Woo! So anyway,
it's a money maker. It's a money maker.
So I know, it's not funny. So, and the other thing I wanted to remind everyone out there about is the marriage conference that's happening at the end of April, the 24th and the 25th down in Gilbertsville. It is a family life event, so it's their Art of Marriage video series for strengthening your marriage and getting back on track together. So check that out. That's together.chaponline.com. You can sign up there, and we would love to see you. Yeah, it'd be super fun.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention one more thing. I have to get this mention in, okay? So I'm almost out of toilet paper at my house, okay? And there's like 4 girls, females in my house, okay? So toilet paper is a thing. So I'm like, oh. And someone said the other day that Giant was out of toilet paper. I was like, what? And I don't know where y'all fall on the whole current coronavirus thing, and that's, neither here nor there. But I will tell you out there, if you need toilet paper, you better get to the store.
Go. We are homeschoolers. We're home all day long.
Exactly. We don't get out of our house ever. You need toilet paper. Get to the store.
Everybody's using the bathroom all day long. So Ginger she enlightened me last night.
I totally posted on Facebook on my personal page, and I said, does anyone know if there's toilet paper in E-Town? Because I heard there wasn't. And then a friend of mine said, oh, hey, there is. I was just at Giant an hour ago. So my husband and I went at 9:30 last night to get toilet paper. And now the Scott tissue was still there. You know, that thin stuff that really didn't do anything. So there was still Charmin.
Ginger,
I got Charmin.
Scott will beat nothing, though.
I know. Scott will beat nothing. So there was Scott.
Desperate.
Yes. Or tissues. I mean, you can use tissues. It's a little more expensive, but...
Yeah.
So anyway, make sure you have toilet paper, because no matter where you fall with everything and what you're thinking about everything, the fact is that some people are stockpiling toilet paper.
So that's our tip today.
That's our tip
from Chattin with CHAP. Go buy toilet paper. Aren't you glad you signed on today?
There's no leaves on the trees, so it's not like you can use leaves.
Honestly, we've had the discussion in our house on what we would do if we ran out.
I've done cloth diapers, and I really don't want to go back there. But
whoever thought we'd be talking about this?
There it is.
Things you can talk about at home.
So, what is our topic today?
Our topic. Hey, we've been talking about the lies that homeschooling moms, homeschooling families believe. We are on number 4, and number 4, the lie that I find a lot of people believe is you have to recreate school at home. I did it, Ginger.
Yeah.
My very first year homeschooling.
Yeah.
I had a desk.
Desk.
They each had a desk. They had their books. There were posters on the wall. There were bookshelves. And there's nothing wrong. If you have that,
it's great.
if you like that, and if it works for you.
Your kids, yeah.
My kids did not sit at and we had a very strict schedule. And there was recess, and there was math, and there was science, and there was history. It just was very, very structured. And it took away the joy for us, and it did not work for us. Now, if it works for you,
that's awesome.
Yes, this is not like shaming that at all.
Mm-mm.
I'm just hoping to free you up if you are new and you've recreated this beautiful school setting, and your children are dangling off the chair.
Sit up! Stop moving!
I'm just. It's okay. It's okay.
It is okay. It is okay because I mean, a lot of us. I mean, I went to public school. I know what the classroom situation is like. I know what it's like in there. So that when you think school, that's what pops in the head. And
right.
And honestly, it's like a retraining of the brain. And maybe school's not even the right word. We need to think of it as learning. We're home learning. So how do you learn? And honestly, it took me a while too because recess. My boys, like we would do read alouds. Oh my goodness, they would roll around and stick their feet in the air and sit on their heads on the sofa and whatever. And it drove me crazy because they were supposed to sit and be still and be quiet. But I would ask them questions,
and they would know
and
the
they
answers.
knew all the answers. They knew, so they were taking it in.
Yeah, I mean, the key is that your children are learning, and learning in an environment where they can thrive and learn. And so we've addressed this probably more than once before on Chat with CHAP. There are different learning styles.
Yeah.
And sitting at a desk, just doing worksheets and doing memorization, those types, it does not work for every child.
Not for everybody. Some people love it.
Yeah.
I love worksheets. Man, check it off, get it done. Woohoo! Give me a drill sheet for math, whatever. I loved that kind of stuff, but not everybody does.
They don't. And so I think I came into this expectation that my children would just sit quietly and just do each subject, and it would be easy. And I tried to recreate this school setting, and when that didn't work, I felt like the lie then I believed was there was something wrong with me, or that I was failing.
Oh, you can't do this.
Yeah. But when I really started reading some books about how children learn, I think it's The Way They Learn by Cynthia Tobias. That was one of my favorites. The Way They Learn by Cynthia Tobias. When I read that, it was so freeing to me.
That's awesome.
I read some other really good books, and wow, I don't even remember. There's some old books out there that I'd have to look back on what they were, but really encouraged me in my journey, and that each child is unique and learns differently. And what is it? Because I call it Patchwork of Days.
I don't know.
Oh, that was one. And I saw The Angel and the Marble, and I carved till I set him free. I think that's another homeschooling one.
That's a long title.
I think that's the whole quote from Michael. Is it Michelangelo? I think so.
Oh yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci. No,
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Maybe it's just I saw The Angel and the Marble. But all of these books freed me up. Talking with other homeschool families, that it's okay that they're not just sitting. What about high school? Do you still suggest not?
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you want to grab that?
Well, okay. So for my high schoolers, I mean, I just kind of, they're on their own, really, for the most part. I mean, the one is taking college classes. He's managing his own schedule. He's driving himself to class. He's doing his homework when he wants to do it. And honestly, sometimes he's sitting down at we call it the homeschool room table, but I mean, what else? I don't have a name for that room, so that's what we call it. He sits down at 10:30 when I'm going to bed to do his homework. So it's not, and sometimes he does it on the sofa. And so it's just, my other one's teaching himself Swedish on the computer, so he has this little setup there, and he does his own thing, and the rest of the time he's laying on the sofa reading his history book or his biology book, or he's sitting at that table. They just kind of manage, they make their own schedule. I just make sure, do you have it done? Yes. And the night before co-op, do you have all your work done? Did you collect it all up? Is it all ready to go? And then, if he's not doing his work adequately, the co-op teachers tell me, and I'm taking care of his math. Right. So I just put the responsibility on them. It's on you, and if you don't do it, well, then I'm going to get involved, and it's not going to be pleasant. You won't enjoy it. But I leave it up to them. And my boys they like that independence. They don't want me getting in their face about whatever. So as long as they stay diligent, I let them do their homework wherever they want to.
Yeah. There has to be, you have to give some freedom, because whether they're going to go to college or not, whether they're going to be an employee.
Yeah.
Either way, they have to learn how to manage time.
Yes,
they have to learn how to manage themselves, their assignments, what's expected of them.
To be responsible.
Yeah, because we can't go with them. No. Our time comes to an end. So high school is a good time. I feel like I'm with you. It's a good time to start giving more responsibility. These are the assignments for the week. You know, I have a 10th grader, he's 15. So on Monday, our co-op has a website where all the assignments are posted. You know, I'll go over that with him, like, this is the expectation this week, but then, and I'll check in, or if he needs help, or whatever, but he's welcome to sit on the couch to do that, to sit at the table to do that.
Sit outside for all I care.
And he's one, like,
whatever.
I like to do a little bit each day of something. That's just how I like to accomplish. I like small chunks. He, on the other hand, likes to do one whole subject at a day. Yeah. Yes. So he's like, I'm going to get all the history done today. And I'm going to, it's okay. As long as he meets the expectations, that's okay. Yeah. And so I think high school's a good time to start giving that freedom. And by the time you get to high school, unless you're just pulling your kids out at high school, but by the time you get to high school, you've sort of learned their learning style. You know which ones sit and which ones do well with this and which ones do well with that, and which ones are more than likely college bound and which ones are. I mean, I know they don't always have it all figured out, but you know which ones are, I could tell which ones of mine were academic and which were more hands-on. And
you know which subjects you really ought to check in on.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, maybe I ought to ask about this in particular. Yeah. Or maybe I'll go to the teacher and say, how's things going, for this? Because, they're forthright with everything and whatever. But I mean, sometimes Asher does his work out in the hammock. So, but, and that way, if you are just bringing your child home, that gives you an opportunity to just let them experiment, and kind of detox from the rigid situation or the confusing situation or whatever the situation was that your child was in at school, just to try and, okay, how do I learn? Well, maybe I should try this, and maybe I should try that, or maybe I will go outside and see, or maybe it's too distracting, and it'll take a while to figure that out. But I think, especially once they get to be freshmen, sophomores, I mean, they're starting to know themselves a little better, and they're starting to understand themselves and how they work. So
yeah. And we've done, you can go back and look at our old videos. We've done high school at home. We've talked about high school extensively before in Chat with CHAP, where we've talked about, yes, there are requirements. So there is some recreating some school. There's some requirements to get through high school, but there are different ways to achieve those. Yes. So it doesn't all have to look the same. And maybe for you don't send them to a co-op class, or you don't send them to a college class, and so you are the one who's managing that work. It's still okay, though, to give them the responsibility and have an expectation of them, and allow them some independence to do it in a way that works for them. And it's a good time for them to learn that.
Oh yeah, they definitely have to learn how to, like, here's your assignments, get it done this week. Like, even if he was doing all the history and stuff at home, I'd be like, okay, this is the unit, I want you to do all these, and then hand them in to me on the weekend, and then I take a look at them over the weekend. Yeah. So I'm,
Well, and early on, maybe late middle school is a good time to start sitting down with them and showing them how to break it up. This is what you have. These are the bite-sized pieces that would make it work, and help them learn that skill.
That's exactly what I do with my middle schoolers now. I have schedule sheets, we do 4 days because the 5th day is co-op. And then whatever the assignment is for the week, I break them down. This will work well like this. Right. And then if they decide to use their time differently, well, then they have to figure it out. And that's fine. Like you said, yours prefers to do subject days. I'm doing everything in biology this day. I'm doing everything in whatever this day. And that's great. If they're getting their work done, whatever, they can manage it however they want, but they choose and they're responsible.
Yeah. And we've had some hard learning too that had to go on when we decide we want to do something all in one day. If it's a lot and it's a tough, it's a little bit of a tougher subject, learning, okay, well, that's something I really can't.
Yeah, I can't handle it all day.
Yeah.
It makes my head hurt.
Yeah, but they had to learn that. I mean, it's a good, it's a valuable lesson to learn.
It really
you
is.
want your kids
you learn limits,
learning these things at home because that's what the real world's going to be for them. And what better place to learn at home? So there might be some ups and downs and some failure. There might be some falling behind sometimes. I mean, I don't want, you know, they're kids, and so they might make wrong choices and get behind, and then you have to kind of get on them, and it's not always easy, but this is where they need to learn it.
Yeah, and honestly too, with, you know, you have your planned curriculum, and there's 36 weeks of this, and well, I don't always do all 36 weeks, you know. Usually with my reading I do because I just love the books, but there's other things where I'm like, you know, this is vacation week, or we were sick, or it snowed, or whatever. We're just not doing it today, and we never make it up. We just don't do it, and that's okay. You don't have to do every single page in every single book, and you know. So we think that's one of the top lies that moms believe, and we hope that we helped encourage you in some way. If you've been feeling like it's smothering you, maybe try something different. Out of the box.
Yeah.
Think out of the box.
Yeah, be good.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
We'll be back next week with lie number 5.
Number 5. All right. Okay.
This has been Chattin' with CHAP. See you next week.